Hi, welcome to Zine 101. Today's lesson will be a Meander accordion book. In a previous lesson, I demonstrated a standard accordion. In this video, I will be expanding on this structure and making it a little curly swirly. Okay, materials. For this, you'll need your trusty bone folder, an X-Acto blade, a ruler, and a pencil. Some alternatives for a bone folder could be a pen or anything that sort of has a blunt edge on it for those crisp lines. As long as it can make a crisp line, you can even use a spoon. An X-Acto blade for clean, sharp lines, but if you don't have one, a pair of scissors will always come in handy. If you don't have a ruler, any sort of straight edge that you can make a nice line against. And pencils help, but it's not 100% necessary for this project. I just like to have one on hand. So you'll also need a sheet of paper. It can be any size paper. I will be working with a standard copier paper size, 8.5 by 11 in pink because, well, that's just my favorite color. We're gonna start off by folding our paper long ways. We're gonna make sure that our lines are all nice and even. I do that by running my finger along the edge and watching for those corners. I'm gonna take it down to the center for my fold and move outward. And we're gonna make that line nice and sharp with the bone folder. We're gonna open it back up. We're gonna take our sides and line them up to this middle fold. Make sure we're straight top and bottom and make that initial fold line and sharpen it up. Open that back up, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, on this left-hand side. Line it up, make sure we're nice and even, top and bottom, where that fold line is. Straighten it out, sharpen it up. Now that we have these fold lines, our 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna do it the short way down the middle. And depending on your paper grain, it might be a little trickier to have folds on one side. So the grain direction for this one is going against the grain for these folds. That's why the bone folder is really important to make those lines really sharp, because the paper naturally doesn't want to fold that way. But it will today. So just like how we did our long side, our short side is also getting folded in on that middle line again. Make sure we're nice and straight. You see, isn't smoothing as nicely as the other one. It's trying to buckle up. That's just because it's the wrong direction, but paper is malleable and it'll fold. Open it back up, work with that. Look for that inner line. It's important to make sure the first fold you make the correct one. So we're taking a lot of time just to make sure that fold is nice and straight in that line. Bone folding, make sure that line is nice and crispy. So here's our template. When it comes to cutting a Meander accordion book, as you remember from our Zine 101 first lesson, making a 6-page zine, we cut it straight down here in the center and folded it in on itself. This one's going to be a little different. We're actually going to be making opposite cuts along the lines of these folds. So as a visual, we'll be making a cut here that goes all the way through here at the bottom of the page. A similar cut here down to here as the opening. To reverse that, in this middle section, we're going to put a cut here. 1, 2, 3. That's going to extend all the way through this line down here. So let me draw it out so you can see exactly where we're cutting. This is a little bit where the ruler comes in handy. Here's our other cut line on the right hand side. And I'm going to flip this over so I can draw this cut line. Nice. So as you can see, we're going to be cutting here with our X-Acto blade all the way through this edge, here with our X-Acto blade, and here to make our little book today. So remember, X-Acto blades are very sharp, scissors are very sharp, so we want to make sure we're having safety first always. I'm going to remind you, typical practice is to cut away from yourself. I don't do that. I have more control over the blade cutting towards myself, but I do not recommend it for anyone else to do. So I'm going to cut a nice straight line using the guiding with my ruler all the way up against that edge. And I messed up a little bit, like I said, this is a test. So if at first you don't succeed, there's tons of copy paper in the world. Gonna line it up. I like to use my folding guides as a way to line up my top ruler. And where my blade is. Keep it nice and level. Line up that ruler to the top edge. Straighten up, notch, right up next to this blade. Watching your fingers. You do not want to get cut with an X-Acto knife. So if you feel more comfortable using the scissors, use the scissors. Your lines might not be as straight, but safety first. If you don't feel comfortable with the blade, scissors work too. So now that we have our cuts, I'm going to show you why it's a meander book, because it goes in sort of a swirly, non-linear sort of direction. But first we're going to fold this book. And it really is up to the individual how they want to start, but this is how I start. I start with this top fold here, and we're going to reverse the fold that we made. That's one of the reasons why it's nice to make nice, clean, sharp lines for our folds, so that they reverse a little easier. We're going to fold this one back down. We're going to flip it to this side and fold it down. So real quick, I'm going to open it back up so you can see. Like the accordion style I showed previously, it went 1, 2, 3. This is where we turn it and fold it down so that we still have a line. We go here, like in an accordion, reverse fold, sharpen up that line because it didn't want to be folded that way originally. And we're back here with these 2 panels that go down, flip around, fold, fold down, nice and straight. Keep following that line. We're back here at the 2 panels, fold in, fold down, and keep folding, and keep folding, and keep folding, and you have your little book. I'm going to show it one more time, even slower. So we're going to open up all this back again. You see how I said it was curly and swirly? So here we were flat. Flip this back around because I like to start with this cut line out here at the top. We're going to go 1, fold, back, fold, down, following that line always, down with these connecting pieces, back, and there you have it, little book. You made a little teeny tiny meander book. And as you can see, quite a lot of pages you can work with when filling it for content. What's also really interesting about this structure is it's a little non-linear. But what I mean is that linear books tend to follow one direction, right? Like when you read it, it goes in one direction. This book is a little different in the sense that because of these folded duplicate pages, you could actually have a different reading going this way. So it's almost like a secret. So you're reading pretty normal, and then you come to this folded page right here that's folded in half, and you can open it to reveal something. And then you return back to the linear structure until you hit one of those folded pages again. Yeah, so it's like a little secret that you can include in your linear structure. And it keeps going until the linear, until it has another little secret that you can operate with to the end of your book. What's also interesting about this book is that it's almost circular as well. Like we talked about in the previous accordion, utilizing both sides, this is also a structure where you can utilize both sides of the sheet of paper for content. So here would be your cover, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, if you didn't want to use that secret page. And then you could just flip it around to your back cover and work the other direction. I made this other one earlier, like a cooking show, to show that has them more labeled. So here we have our Meander accordion structure, and we have it labeled cover. And we're working through the book with 1, 2, 3, 4. This one was folded down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And this is our back cover. This could be where you want to end your book, but it could also be page 17. And you can work the opposite direction. So 18, 19. We could do some pages here. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and then you're back at your front cover. So you could work circularly. Let me open this up. So it's good practice when you're making a structure to make a template first, so that you can see how many pages you're working with when it's folded. It's good to make a template for your page counts with like a fake version of your book. So when you're testing out a structure, you should always make a test version of it. So this would be my test. And what I would then do is go through like I did on my white sheet and number everything. So when I open it back up, I knew placements for where I wanted my images to go. I'm going to demonstrate it real quick for you. This is where the pencil comes in handy. So we have our front cover here. I'm going to label that cover. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to open it this way because I might want this to be 5 and 6. I'm going to go 7, 8, 9, 10. There's another opening here if I want it to be maybe 11 and 12. If I want that secret to be revealed there. 13, 14. 15, 16. Ooh, we got another secret. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and we have our back. We have our back, or if we want to make it circular, we have our 23rd page, and we just go back the opposite direction. So here's our back, here's our page 24 and 25. And here's where that secret is for the underside. So depending on where you want to utilize it, it becomes, you can use it here. So we're going to make a small note that says this technically could be is our reverse page. So maybe we want it to correlate to whatever was going on in here. But I like to star the ones that I know are going to be that reverse secret panel. 26, 26, 27. Oh, our other secret. Star, star. 28, 29. Star, star. 30, 31. So with this structure, you have 31 pages you could fill with content in a very interesting way that's like a little more non-linear than we had been working with previously. So it's not like a traditional matrix that moves like a book. It's more circular, a little bit more non-traditional, if you catch my drift. Now I know it can be difficult to imagine what you could even fill in a book like this. Like, what kind of narrative do I want to tell? What kind of subject matter do I want to use this curly, swirly structure on? Well, I so happen to use this structure quite frequently, and recently I made this little book for a class. It's a little bit bigger. It's more of a square shape than the other one. It uses the same size paper, but it has less folds. I'm going to walk you through it, and then I'm going to open it up for you so you can see exactly what's going on with it. It was a book I made to talk about why I wanted to study what I wanted to study in my PhD program. So we have our cover page, my art, and for this, I wanted to use those secret pages to make a connecting image so that when it opened up, it became less like singular pages and more one singular image that worked together. Yep, so we're moving through. You see how I used the accordion structure to make a long image where they didn't have to be single pages, where each one was a different page, but they worked in collaboration. And I flipped over and I used this to indicate that I was continuing the story on the other half of the page. And there's that other secret page. Using the folds in interesting ways so they're not singular, but scaling across an image. And we're back at the beginning. One thing to remember about this structure is that people are going to navigate books the way they've always navigated books, which means that most people don't have experience with a structure that's like this. So it kind of makes them think a little bit harder. So when you're creating your imagery and you want something like this, you have to realize that maybe the reader will open this up and then they'll flip it back around. So maybe it's not like a straightforward narrative. Maybe it's a narrative that can be read many different ways with many different kinds of imagery. Maybe there's no words at all. Maybe it's just pictures or like abstract images that convey different feelings when you maneuver them around. So let me open this up for you real quick. So unlike our previous structure, this one was cut using only 2 cut lines. So there's less pages, but the folding and the maneuvering is very similar. And so instead of fourths, I folded this into thirds and just reversed the cut lines. That's the most important part of the structure, is that the cut lines are always reversed within themselves. I'm going to take this one, put it over here, and I'm going to open this one back up so you can see them side by side. So yeah, we have opposite lines this way, we have opposite lines here, and this is the same line. So if we only had that 3, this wouldn't be a factor. The first cut line has to be opposite of the second. So the third has to be opposite of the second. Does that make sense? Well, hopefully it does. So let's say I wanted 5 panels. I would do 1 cut line going down this way, 1 up, 1 down, and 1 mirroring this one going up again. So you can practice with your different folds. I'll have the templates available for you to cut out and practice, but I do recommend that you at least try it on your own once without the template, doing your measuring and your folding without the lines I'll provide. Also, it's very good to do the numbering on a page so that you can know where you want to place your images, because when you have it just on the standard folding, you're not going to quite know where you want to place your images. Because if you don't indicate your cover is here and you put your cover image over here, it's not going to be in the right place. So this like cover 1, 2, 3, 4 really helps me navigate where I should put my imagery. So when I'm thinking about images and structure and narrative, I kind of know what I'm working with and what direction I need to be placing them for my matrix. Remember, we talked about matrices. This would be my matrix for this book. A matrix is like your standard form that houses your imagery and your narrative and whatever you choose to put into your book, but it also is your original to make copies from. So if I were to make copies for this, I wouldn't have cut any of these lines. I would just have this standard sheet front and back and ran it through the copier like 15 or 20 times, depending on how many books I wanted. And then I would have cut them all after I had them all printed, because I could tape this back up and run it through the printer with all my fold lines. If that's the look you like, that'll work too. If that's how you want to create your imagery, we'll have a different lesson on how to build your books based on structures and what kind of practices are best. But for now, this has been a Meander Accordion book, our curly swirly addition to the accordion family. I recommend that you try it out. It's quite fun, and it's a great little teeny tiny pocket book to carry around and pass out to people. And it gives you quite a bit more pages than our traditional 6-page zine folded one sheet or our accordion zine. Happy bookmaking!